The government's announced a record boost for Pharmac's budget, but it probably won't result in any new medicines being funded.
That's because the drug buying agency had a hole in its books due to both rising costs and time-limited funding, or what the government is calling a fiscal cliff left by Labor. Here's our political editor, Jenna Lynch.
A lot has happened in Fiona Tollich's life since she marched on Parliament in the freezing rain 3 years ago. She and her family made the difficult decision to move to Australia because the medicine she needs to treat spinal muscular atrophy isn't funded for adults in New Zealand. Today she was back speaking at Parliament, still fighting for better access to medicines for New Zealanders.
The last time I was here, I was petitioning, I had my children here, so we haven't gone far enough because it's not safe for me to come back because my treatment's still not available.
Associate Health Minister David Seymour today announced the government will give Pharmac nearly $1.8 billion over 4 years.
We inherited a very challenging circumstance. To be perfectly frank, the previous government just wasn't honest with the books and left us with a fiscal cliff of monumental proportions.
That means the record boost likely won't actually fund any new medicines, just allow Pharmac to keep paying for the ones it already does.
This now gives us the certainty into out years that we can continue funding the medicines that we've already funded.
Effectively, Pharmac's increased budget was given time-limited funding, so as David Seymour is showing in this graph, it was going to fall away if the government chose not to fill the gap.
But right now, we've inherited a fiscal cliff where we have to save the furniture. I mean, this is real. Pharmac would have been basically choosing not which new things to fund, but which things that people are currently getting they should take away.
Politicians very rarely will have to make a decision that directly impacts upon a person's life. Depending on the level of funding they give Pharmac will determine whether or not some New Zealand patients will live or they will die.
There are currently 140 applications on Pharmac's options for investment list, the list of medicines it would fund if it had the budget to do so.
I would like to, but the reality is that we're not going to be able to do that.
To fund those, Pharmac would need even more money in the May budget.
I'd like to see us get average with the rest of the developed world. That would require right now a $2.25 billion increase.
We'll be pleased with any increase that we get. We have no problem spending it.
There will be more funding for health in general, as we've talked about in the budget, and you'll have to see that as we get to the budget at the end of May.
That's a solid wait till budget day to find out.
Well, Jenna joins us now. Kia ora, Jenna. So are we likely to see more money for Pharmac in the budget?
That is the multi-$100 million question, Mike. One thing to watch out for is whether National will make good on its promise it made during the election campaign to fund 13 more cancer treatments. Now, the way that they were looking to fund that is one to watch out for as well. They wanted to reintroduce the $5 prescription fee that a lot of us paid for prescriptions at the pharmacy, targeting free prescriptions to only superannuitants or those on low incomes and reinstating that $5 fee for everyone else. But even if these cancer drugs move from Pharmac's wish list to its funded list, there is still a list of more than 100 medicines, some of them that people desperately need, waiting to be funded, and the price tag for that is in the hundreds of millions.
Political editor Jenna Lynch, tēnā koe.